Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Finance. In this episode, we discuss the terminology whole coiner and no coiner. So the term whole coiner is typically used to refer to a person who has more than a single Bitcoin in value, and the term no coiner is used to a person who has no Bitcoin at all. No Satoshis. So becoming a whole coiner is becoming increasingly difficult due to the rise in value of Bitcoin. But of course, anybody can own part of a Bitcoin in units of Satoshis. So whether you are a full Bitcoiner or a partial Bitcoiner, you have some Bitcoin, but if you don't, then you're a no coiner. And no coiners are typically people who either are not aware of Bitcoin, haven't given consideration to Bitcoin, or possibly for various reasons are actually strongly opposed to Bitcoin. When looking at the mindset of a no-coiner, we need to figure out why it is that they are no-coiners. Some of them, it may simply be that they haven't had the opportunity or the foresight to purchase Bitcoin, and others may have particular misconceptions or perceptions about Bitcoin. And quite often, the sort of stereotypical no-coiner is also someone who's very bitter. They feel that they've missed out on some type of investment opportunity and they therefore hold a grudge. Typical comments or objections that you will hear from no-coiners are things such as Bitcoin is a conspiracy scheme, or Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. They might say something like Bitcoin affects the government's ability to run the economy properly. They may tell you that Bitcoin is a scam. Typically, a very common objection you hear is, well, Bitcoin is not safe. I only invest in safe investments. And of course, the irony there is that we know for a fact that money is not safe. Money over time, with certainty, declines in value due to its infinite production. Some of them prefer to invest in gold, and they'll tell you something like, well, gold is real, gold is something I can touch. There are obviously some benefits to gold, but a lot of downsides. Try transporting gold across the world without it being confiscated or lost, let alone how heavy it is. Try doing that instantaneously. Try dividing gold into 1 million perfect pieces. It's a lot of downsides to gold in terms of storage and safety, let alone all the instruments that have been created to artificially create fake versions of gold, and that's probably a conversation for another time. They tell you that the fundamental or intrinsic value of Bitcoin is zero, not realizing, of course, that Bitcoin's value is entirely dependent on how much demand there is for it. Same with any other asset. So these are the types of things you hear from no-coiners. You'll also hear an objection which is, well, Bitcoin wasn't distributed fairly. When Bitcoin was invented, some people managed to get more of it than others. And my response to that is that Bitcoin and the white paper for Bitcoin was actually made public. Everybody at that time who had awareness had the ability to mine Bitcoin and get in early, so to speak. But, the other assets that we have in this world, whether it's gold or stocks or property or fiat currency, these things are obviously not distributed perfectly equally either. So we can gripe about these things. The no-coiner can continue to be bitter, or the no-coiner can decide, well, I may not have been in the market now, but I'm going to buy some Bitcoin going forwards. So these are the main terms that you hear. No-coiner, and for a person that has Bitcoin, you'll hear Bitcoiner. You might also hear the term one-coiner, which is a person who has a single Bitcoin. So these are the terms. I hope that's helpful. Good luck.